This is Hannibal here from the HannibalTV.com, and today I have a special guest for my interview, MLW producer, former wrestler. We'll see if she still wrestles or not, and she still goes to school too, so she studies hard. Selina de la Renta, how are you doing today?
I'm doing really well. Another day in quarantine.
Yes, how is it there? You're in Florida, right?
Yeah, it's fine. I can't complain because they say we can't go out, but you can go to Walmart and you can drive to work. So technically, you can be out. And I've seen a lot of cars, and I feel like life hasn't really stopped here.
Is it true that like from something like 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. or something, you're not allowed out on the streets there?
Yeah, we have a curfew, but it's like 11 to 5 a.m.,
Oh, okay.
which is like sleeping hours, and it's like not that bad.
Are the gyms open there still?
No,
Okay.
I like gyms are like the number one more contaminated, I would say. Contaminated.
So
Um,
what are you doing for your workouts?
I learned this workout with Loki when I was new at MLW, and I just used a deck of cards. It's like a prison thing, and every different symbol will mean a different workout. So if it's like the 10 of it's not, you don't have tens, like a 9. Oh yeah, it does have a 10 of cubs, then you would do 10 push-ups. And then if it's the 10 of hearts, then it would be 10 pull-ups. And like I would do the entire deck, and I do some stretches. I have like a one of those flexibility trainers, so I wrap the thing around my leg and then I pull it with the other hand, and it brings my leg up. It helps with the splits.
Oh,
So
that's cool. Can
yeah,
you?
and I have a reflex bag.
Oh, okay, that's nice.
So yeah.
How flexible are you? Can you do like the full? Like I've heard you say Melina is a big
Yes.
inspiration to you. Can you do the splits like she used to do?
No, but I did get my split tips from her. So
Okay.
I was like, how can I do the splits like yours? And she was like, what you got to do is you got to sit on two chairs and do the middle split, and then like let gravity bring you down. So when you over split, now the normal split comes natural to you.
Okay.
Like, wow, that's a really good tip. So I've been doing that.
Yeah, she's a really nice person to meet.
Mhm.
I've met some divas that can be a little bit on the bitchy side, but she's one of the down to earth ones.
She's a sweetheart, no matter what. No matter what. Like when I met her and I was marking out 100%, I'll admit it. I was like, oh my god, I'm just a really big fan. I want to hug you, and she hugged me, and she was nice, and actually was in the same match as me that night. So I guess that's why she was so kind.
Now, I notice you have your nails done to perfection there. Did you still go to like a nail place or do you do them yourself?
Ooh, I'm gonna get heat from this one. I definitely go out to the to the spa to get them done. I got them done like the day before we had the lockdown. I was like, "There's no way I'm going through this with shit nails. I will hate life."
Wow.
So, commitment.
So, just to get onto your childhood a bit, I understand even though you grew up in Puerto Rico where wrestling is pretty popular, you weren't a wrestling fan?
No, I wasn't a wrestling fan at all. Like growing up, all I knew is that I wanted to be on TV. I wanted to act. I wanted to be on the spotlight. I wanted to show people that I don't know that I can do it too. I just thought I could do that. And when I moved to Florida, I moved here to study film, and one of my assignments was to study reality TV for a pilot that I had to write for, as an assignment. And I studied Total Divas, and then
Okay.
my the first question I asked myself was, why are these hot women fighting? Isn't this like a male thing? And now the thought is in my head that maybe I could fight. Like maybe this is for me. Like they did it. I look like that. And I kept telling my mom, "Mom, I look like that." And she was like, "Yes, you fit in. Just try it." And I did. And the minute I took a bump, I was like, this is my career. it almost made me want to cry because I was so happy I found it.
Now, did you go to school? I know you're living in Florida now, but did you start off in Puerto Rico when you were going to school?
Yeah, I grew up in Puerto Rico. I lived there 17 years. So I from nursery I was there. Then I was there until my 11th grade, and I moved here for my senior year, which was very difficult. And yeah, I did 1 year of American school, and I've been in college here since. So it definitely is better here. I feel like and that's why I moved here for the education system. But at first, it was really really hard. The language barrier, the culture shock. Like I, people don't greet each other here like they do in Puerto Rico, and like I went around kissing everybody on the cheek, and they were looking at me like, "Ooh, we don't know her."
So was it your parents or your mother that moved to the U.S. that made you move here?
Well, my I really don't have that much of a relationship with my dad, but my mom, she moved here because I told her I was gonna move here when I was 18. I said, "Mom, I'm going to California, no matter what. Like, if you want to stay in Puerto Rico, that's up to you. If you want to come with me, then that's up to you too." And she decided to move to. She said, "I'll move, but Orlando's cheaper, so that I could probably do that now, and then maybe we can go to California." And I'm glad I'm in Orlando. I This is where I was meant to be. I love Florida.
Did you find that the schools in Puerto Rico were dangerous when you went to school there?
I went to private school.
Okay.
So my mom went to public school, and that's why she put me on private. She had really bad experience. Like she would get beat up. She also got pregnant in school, and like they were bullying her for that. And she changed schools. Like she went all over the island, and like because of the way she grew up, she was like, "Nah, my kids won't go through that." So thanks to my mother, I was in private, which was definitely less than what public is here in Florida.
Okay.
So it's still not as good as, but yeah.
Now, when you moved to Florida and watched Total Divas, was there any favorite diva you had on the show?
Yeah, well, the Bella twins.
Oh,
I was like, damn, if I could be born again, I would want to be the triplet. I really want to be there, and I would watch the show. Eva Marie, of course. She was inspiring just because she didn't grow up in wrestling either. She was like, all right, I'm doing this, and I'm trending, period. It doesn't matter if I'm good or not. So she went and did it, and I liked her attitude. Naomi, to me, she's like the best athlete in the world. And she was definitely inspiring because I wanted to be like her. Now I wanted to be able to move that way because at the time I was not, and I still am not to do half the things she can. But I would say the entire cast. Maddie, she's been there. She's the veteran. Like everybody respects her. I admire that from her. I think Summer Rae was just funny on the show. So like all the different personalities, it just felt like I would chit chat with these girls. I would get along. Like these are my friends, and some of them I actually met. So we're not friends yet.
did you meet Eva Marie yet?
No, no. I still have to meet her, and I haven't met Nikki or Bree.
Okay.
I met Summer Rae. I met Cameron, and I would say Paige. From the show, I think those are the only three I've met.
Okay. I
I met
met
Nikki
Cameron.
J, which was dope.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but she's not on the show. I just wanted to say I met her.
Yeah, she I think is married to Nick Aldis or something now, isn't she?
Yeah, that's dope. I met Nick Aldis, and he helped me with the promo on this show, Tried and True. Uh,
Okay.
David Arquette was on it, and he flopped, and it was great time.
So how did you go about getting into wrestling? Did you join a school or did you know somebody in the business?
Well, I started at Team Vision Dojo,
Okay.
I believe in wrestling, and that's where I met Mr. Saint Laurent, who is the vice president of MLW. So at first they didn't have MLW, so I was just on the regular student shows, which I was working for free. Then I started traveling a little and making terrible money. I was like driving 3 hours, paying my dues. That's how it is in wrestling. And one day, MSL was like, what would you be interested in changing your entire character and maybe trying something new? And I was like, that's a weird question. Why? Because Court Bauer is opening a company, MLW. We used to have it back in the day, and we're bringing it back, and we think that maybe if we make a few changes to you, you could make a really good fit. And I was like, all right, whatever. So they asked for like a name change. And I was doing the Booty Monster, which I hate admitting, but it's the truth. That was my name at the time. I was the Booty Monster, Milan and Nikki, and my gimmick was that I would run and hit people with my butt on their face, and like inspired by Naomi, of course. And then, but my entire move set was like different, like pop up and then hit them with my butt, kick butt, stink face, or upside down. I did a trio blow, stink face, like that kind of stuff. And they were like, maybe not none of that. You're actually very smart, so let's try to like show that. And I was like, all right, let's just whatever you want. They're like, can you wear a business suit? And I was like, I will. And now I can't get enough of it. Like I feel like I felt completely in love with what the way they saw me.
Right.
And I was like, you know what? You're right. It's fitting. I am better than this. I'm gonna be better. And then ever since I went back to school, because I had dropped out of school when I started wrestling, and I decided to go back. And I was like, man, maybe I could write some stuff now and actually get something done. I have a national television job. Like, do something with your life, girl. And I did. I started writing pitches, and Court. I wrote something, and it was weird because like I'm new here, and everybody is such big name, and like nobody's really doing what I'm doing. So it's kind of like intimidating. And I still went, showed him my pitch. He read it, looked at me, said nothing. Next taping, I bring another pitch. Hey, I wrote this. Looks at it, says nothing. I was like, all right. Then I get a phone call from him, and he's like, Selina, how would you like to be executive producer of one episode? And I was like, what? How did we get there? Just how? And he was like, I just think the stuff that you wrote about is really interesting. And I feel like I want to see how you would do this if it was your show. And those are the best words anybody's ever told me. And that was the moment when my life completely changed. I was like, I can produce shows. I can do this. And my mindset changed. I met Tessa Blanchard, who was very, very inspiring to me. I wasn't like I would say before, I was always a big dreamer, but I wasn't really like on top of my stuff. Like I would always chase the dream, but I was not committed 100%. And I thought I was until I met her. And I saw like what 100% really looks like. And I was like, man, I want to be like that. So I started like I was like working out, researching more, and all my free time was wrestling. Like, what's next? What's my next move? How to get ahead? How to make more money? How to get known? And then everything just started like happening for me. So that I would say that's my path.
So when you're writing a pitch for wrestling, how is that different than a movie? And was that, for instance, an angle about you, or was that just a general angle about someone else on the show?
What? I
Like what
don't.
you had in your pitch, you said you submitted a pitch. So like for
Oh,
instance,
they never used it, but it was for me. It
okay,
was for me. I wrote the stuff I wrote about was for myself. I'll tell you. I don't know if I should, because if they end up using it, I mean, whatever. I'm not gonna do it. So I thought that it would be a great idea if we did a hair versus mask match where I put my hair on the line and it's one of the big wrestlers' mask. So
Okay.
it's someone's going. And I thought at the end it could be something where somehow I won and they're just fucking. I'm sorry. Can I cuss? I'm sorry. I didn't
If
mean
you
to.
want to,
I
yeah.
didn't
I
mean
was
to.
surprised to hear it though.
It was an accident. Um, but I can just say people are just talking about like somebody cutting a promo saying how I'm a coward and I won because I cheated and now they have to take off their mask and whatever. And then I just wanted to be like, you know what? It's not really like I wasn't trying to cheat. I'm just better than you. And then me shaving my own head at the same time, like I feel like that would have been like, whoa, you get the mask and you get the hair. Like that's a main event for sure.
Yeah.
So he liked where my mind was at that point. And like he told me later on, but that was my first initial pitch. And then everything that came after that was also some of the stuff didn't happen, but it was just really good, in my opinion.
Well, that would have been a shame if you'd actually cut your hair because you might have the nicest hair in wrestling right now. Looking at it, it's pretty
Well,
nice.
that was the debate. Everybody was like, "Whoa, that's so dope," but no, we like your hair.
Now, you mentioned that you were given the opportunity to executive produce a show. Was that a television taping?
Yeah, yeah. The entire. Well, no, it's an episode, so it's not
Oh,
like the entire show. But for example, like what matches would I want booked on my episode? Then that's on me. So like I can pick whoever I want, pair them up however I want, and if like I don't know, I could have changed their colors, like anything I really wanted to do, like lights or fog, or if I think he needs a chair, or if I think I want a stipulation, which I did, which was Looser leaves town. Well, I did a few episodes, so that wasn't on the first one, but that was in the second one, and like that, like I had like little segments. Yeah, I get to pick who gets how much time to talk if I want them to talk. If I think they're some, I mean, some people I don't think are strong talking, so maybe they won't get any time. So it's merely based on my opinion instead of court telling me I think this person should have more TV time. It was all up to me.
so does that mean at the actual taping, you're giving the direction to the performers, you're telling them the finishes, you're directing any vignettes that are done?
Well, I try not to tell people what to do in that aspect because, like, I feel like if you are on TV, national TV, and you're hired by this company, you're hired because you know what you're doing. I can't tell Key, go in there and do this, and that when he's been doing this for how long? Like, it would be absurd for me to even try and do something like that. I'm also working with LA Park. I never try and tell them what to do. I just tell them this is the match, this is the stipulation, and whatever happens happens.
So I believe now you're, I guess, a full-time manager and producer. What made you transition from wrestling to that?
My knee. I had an accident 2 years ago. I broke my leg. And after that, I was wrestling with a broken leg, and it snapped like 5 different times until the very last time it dislocated, and now I had a leg like crooked, and I had to get surgery. So I've been out for 2 years now. Then that's when MLW offered me the position as a manager, and I was like, yeah, I'll do anything in wrestling. Honestly, anything. I don't want to take time off. Like that was just gonna hurt me. And I came back with a cane. Like in the beginning of MLW, I had a cane, which a lot of people asked me about. That was a shoot. I needed my cane to walk, and I wore flats, and everybody would comment on that and say, "Oh, she's just trying to be like a man." Like, no, I'm not. I'm trying to walk and have a job. So at first, that definitely was that what made me stop and do wrestling. I mean, managing. But I'm actually trying to get ready to get back in the ring because I miss it too much. I'm still gonna do MLW and I'm still gonna manage because I'm in love with that part of my career. But I feel like there's a lot more to me than just that.
Is it a in-ring injury where you hurt your knee, or was it something outside the ring?
Yeah, it was in the ring. I was actually in the ring with Isla Dawn, and I was doing I don't know why, but it was like a leapfrog from the top rope,
Oh, okay.
and I just jumped over her. And when I landed, let's assume this is my leg, it was like this, and gravity brought it all the way to the floor, and it went back up, it
Ooh.
snapped back in its place. So that was the original injury.
Did you finish the match?
Nah, nah, nah. I got paid that. No, I'm not even gonna say that. No, I just didn't finish it.
Okay, I see. Now, I haven't actually seen too much of your wrestling career. I'm mostly familiar with promos and stuff I've seen from you in MLW. If any fans wants to look up how you were as a wrestler, is there any matches you would suggest that we search?
Yeah, for sure. So keep in mind that when I started wrestling, I didn't know wrestling either. So like whatever you find, if it's like 3+ years old, is probably not going to be good. But if you watch my match with Lacey Lane, who is Kaden Carter in WWE right now, that match was probably the most fun match I ever had. Cameron Brené was really good. That was at World Class Revolution. And let me pick a third that I really like. Okay, anything with Arya Blake. Because she was my tag partner. All those matches were so fun. I was a spoiled brat. That was our tag name.
Well, you're in an area too where there's a lot of good lady wrestlers, I think, so that's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Oh yeah, I got to wrestle really cool people. Like there's a match with Santana Garrett and Chelsea Green.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like that one was fun. It was them against me and Lacey Lane. So that one's also fun. Like there's a bunch of matches out there that are good, but some
How
are.
was Chelsea Green?
She's awesome. I met her at the same school that I started, and I remember when I met her because she was just coming in to bring something to Santana. I don't even know what she was doing there. But I was showing Santana my entrance as the Booty Monster, and when she came in and she saw me twerking, she started twerking with me, and I didn't even know her. So that was the way I met her. And then after that, we became really good friends. I would do her hair. Like, I would see her all the time. Her and Zach are really nice.
Yeah, that's true. They ended up together, and I think she's signed by WWE now too, right?
Yeah, yeah, she's in the main roster right now, I think. That's
Would
the
you?
last I heard of her.
Oh, yeah, I haven't actually seen any of her matches, but I think I remember hearing she's
Hmm.
had some appearances, right, or something on TV already.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. She was at the Royal Rumble.
Now,
And
for your training, was it MSL training you for the in-ring as well, or did they have someone else showing you how to do the actual moves?
yeah, no, it was not him. I was trained by Lindsay Dorado,
Okay.
Ricardo Rodriguez, Aaron Epic, and Santana Garrett.
Was it a lot of bumping? How did they go about training you?
They
Some
were
places
really
are
kind to
cardio
me.
heavy.
They were really nice because I feel like in wrestling you can be trained by the wrong people who will put you through hell, and they understood that I wasn't from this world, and they were like slowly introducing me to everything. So at first they were like, "Do you know what a baby face is?" And I was like, "No." And they're like, "Do you know what a heel is?" I was like, "No." He's like, "Do you feel like you're a good guy or a bad guy?" I was bad. And then that's how I started like in introducing like they started introducing wrestling to me. At first it was a talk, then it was headlock and like the basic chain, and then once I did that, they allowed me to touch the ring, and now I had to like sweep my feet and then they had me bumping. I did rolls before I did bumping actually, and hitting the ropes. I feel like bumping was the last thing they taught me, and but then they had me bumping for a long time after that. I would say like 2 months. It was just bumps, 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 and then I learned the last 4 months because I was ready to wrestle in like 6 months.
Yeah.
Last four, they were teaching me moves and wrestling psychology. My favorite was promo class, of course. Then, like towards the end, I learned promos with Ricardo Rodriguez.
So you were always a natural at promos.
Yeah, he knew I was gonna be good at that. He told me when he met me, he's like, "Oh God, you are gonna be really good on the mic." And everybody kept telling me that. They're like, "You're gonna be really good on the mic," and I'm like, "What does that even mean?" That just means I talk a lot of crap. That's what it means. But they were right.
Now you seem like a really sweet person in all your out of character interviews I've seen. What made you want to be a heel? You just have that side of your personality that you like to bring out in the wrestling business or something else?
I'll tell you something that's very strange. Ever since I was little, I looked up to the villains. I love Disney villains. I had my wig that was black and white, exactly how my hair was at MLW, like identical. And I remember growing up, I would watch like any Disney movie or any ABC show, like anything made by Disney. And I love the villains like Cruella, Regina from Once Upon a Time, the Evil Queen, or Ursula. And I've always been so passionate about them. I feel like I've always wanted to be a villain. Always. I looked at movies and then I would be like, I would be good as the bad guy. This one is better. And I would always find the bad guy funny and I'm like, they're the only ones living. Everybody else is stressing. They're being assholes and getting away with it. It's just fun. It's fun to be bad. But then in real life, it's not that fun. If you're a bad person then nobody loves you. You know, so you can't do that in reality. But if I'm getting paid to be a bitch, haha, thank you.
And I heard you say in another interview that Scott Hall actually watched one of your matches and gave you some feedback. What was he like?
uh, he did watch one of my matches, but the real experience with him wasn't necessarily the best, and I don't really want to get into it because I he is very important and I respect him in the business.
Now, as a manager, you've already worked with a lot of top stars in the business and people that have been around a lot, such as Loki. Is there any particular favorite wrestlers you've managed so far?
Yeah, LA Park is my total favorite. I like the man's already unbelievable at his size, the stuff that he can do. But it is one thing to watch him through a screen. I get to watch him ringside every single match. And I can like feel my body's anxiety knowing that something can hit me. And chances are it will hit me. I mean, I got speared through a table once, but besides every other time I've always been like super paranoid something's gonna happen. And when I see him like do like the little tornado he does and like he does it to the outside, I think his match with PCO, he did like a backflip, not a backflip, a front flip from the top rope, and then he hit his spine with like the edge of the apron, and he just stood up like nothing. And I think it's just awesome seeing people that can just take hits like that, but not through a screen, like right here, like you feel it, and the people screaming. It's it's a great feeling. I miss wrestling.
And as a manager, I understand you've worked with some top other managers like Francine, I guess, and some other top females. Could you tell us about some of those girls you've worked with?
Yeah. Well, I worked with Francine, but it wasn't like at a show. We worked together at different conventions. So we were at Starcast, and I can't remember the other one we were. I think it was Heroes and Legends, but it could have been WrestleCon, so I don't want to get that wrong. And um, working with her, like just being by her, like her presence, and she's the best. I call her my mom because if I didn't have a mom, I would have immediately asked her to adopt me because she's such a good person. And that's very strange to find in any business. And working next to her was definitely awesome. Terry Reynolds was definitely fun. I work. Oh well, that's a male. Just females. I worked with Daphne. Daphne, that was fun. Melina, I mentioned her. That's those awesome ones. I met Mickey James, and that was nerve wracking. Um, Lita, that was
Oh,
really fun. Yeah, so I got to work with her, and she bumped me, and I was happy she hit me. Um, uh, Let me try and think back. Who else?
I guess for males, the list is probably pretty long with all the.
Yeah, I feel like I met a lot more male wrestlers than and worked with them than females. But Larry Zbyszko was fun. I did commentary with him for this one show, and it was like old versus young, and I kept like introducing our slang talk, and he was trying to teach me how he talks, and it was quite fun. I would say that's one of my best experiences with any of the OGs. Um, Larry Zbyszko. Uh,
He's funny too. I interviewed him before. He had one of the funniest shoot interviews I ever did.
yeah, has he talked to you about the reptilians?
No,
No, you should ask him about what he thinks about the world. It's quite interesting. I met a bunch of people, and I just can't remember right now. But Ken Anderson was on that show. Um, um, this is my friends, and I can't remember right now.
yeah,
Um, Dang it, I have his face. He wears the cowboy hat. Uh,
James Storm.
James Storm. James
Okay.
Storm was there too. Dan, oh my god, he would hate me if right now he knew I forgot his name. I met Nick Aldis. I worked with David Arquette. Um,
How's David
Conan,
Arquette?
Jim Cornette.
How's David Arquette?
He was so fun. At first, I feel like he he was like an outsider to everybody because like even though we all know him, he doesn't know anybody here. So he was just like by himself. And I was with Ricky Martinez, and he was like, David, come with us and get in our Uber. And I was like, he's gonna come with us. And he did. He ended up coming with us, and we got to talk a little bit. Then he like watched our match, and his feedback was like he loved it. I don't feel like he had that wrestling feedback eye, but I think it was fun just to be around him.
Did you ever witness any of Jim Cornette's temper tantrums when he was working for MLW?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Like it's not even temper tantrums. It's just how he is. It's dead ass. Like he will be telling you a story, and then he'll tell you something about that story that makes him hot about it, and then he'll just go on and rant about that one thing, and then go back to what he was talking about, and then pick something else to rant about. It's hilarious. It's awesome. I was putting a promo together for MLW, and he came over and he's like, I think you should do this and this and this instead. And I did a few changes, and every single thing I changed was what got the crowd to pop.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
pretty cool.
yeah, it was awesome.
Now, as a producer, with what happened with Jim Cornette and NWA, where I guess they let it slip in their editing, the comment he made, and they aired it, even though it wasn't live, would you guys at MLW have actually listened to the commentary first and avoided something like that?
Yeah, well, I don't. That's not my job. I don't know if they edit that or. I mean, I am aware that we do watch the videos like a trillion times, but I don't I don't know if like they cut it. I'm not aware of that. No, I don't know.
And you also worked with some producers in MLW like Bruce Prichard, who's now head writer for SmackDown. Was he
Yeah,
cool to work with?
yeah, he's fun. He is a little more corny than Cornette. He is like he'll get his like cute jokes, and he'll tell you a few on a row. So he has like a mature vibe to him. It's very nice, refreshing. It's always fun to work around somebody that can bring some light to this business because it can get dark.
Oh yes. Speaking of dark, have you been? I know you guys released Ted Hart, I guess late last year, but have you been following the unfortunate stuff that's been happening with him in the past couple months?
Yeah, I am aware of everything that's been happening. I don't want to comment on that situation. It's a little touchy right now.
Yeah. Well, I think it's unfortunate, and I feel bad for the female involved and
Yeah.
her mentality about it. Savio Vega is another agent that works for
Yes.
MLW. He's a fellow Puerto Rican. I would assume you must get along with him.
Yeah, I call him uncle. We that's our the relationship we have. We talk I would say almost every month just to check up on each other and make sure we're doing good. And every time like he's around the shows, I very much hang out with him. It's easier for me because I can just speak my native language with him, and he understands a lot more. I have like we have like a special connection in a way because I mean we were just raised in the same spot. So as soon as I met him, automatically I felt like he was my family. And I met him before MLW. I met him at one of the indie shows that we did, Pro Wrestling 2.0, and he was there working as an agent. And I remember he looked around, he saw me, and I had the Puerto Rico flag as my gear. And he said, "You, girl, come here." And I came over, and he was like, "Yeah." He's like, tell them what I'm trying to say, because they don't understand my accent. This is this and this and that." And I started translating everything for him. So after that, we bonded and we followed each other on social media. And when we see each other at MLW again, we're like, "Hey, I know you." So it's been lit since.
He's a really nice guy too. I know him pretty well.
Yeah.
Um, so when you're writing movies and stuff for your school, what do you think, like, if you end up getting into that side of the business, are you going to be more like a comedy writer, drama, action?
I'm pretty good at writing comedy. I have a really goofy mind. You wouldn't believe the kind of stuff I think about based on my resting bitch face, but I majority of the thoughts I have are extremely funny. I am not writing movies anymore though. Like the only I like to write ideas for wrestling, but I don't feel like my future is as a writer. I am going to college and I'm pursuing two careers at the same time. So, and I changed my major. So when I started, it was film, but I could only take so many screenwriting classes, and then I had to get into like lighting and director and other stuff that I didn't really want to do. So I changed my major to dramatic arts. So now I can just do all the acting classes, which is what I really want to do, and like learn how to do my makeup and learn about outfits and stuff that will help me at the end of the day when I'm working on TV. So I'm working on that. I'm doing a bachelor's, a master's, and a PhD in dramatic arts, as well as I'm doing a bachelor's in psychology and a master's in psychology with a PhD in sexology. Because I would say this next 10 years is going to be all performing arts. But as soon as I'm done with school, I want to be a full-time sex therapist.
Really, that's an interesting career choice.
Yeah, I'm never gonna leave the wrestling business though. Like I'm just not gonna do it as my one and only thing.
So a sex therapist, that's like if couples are having problems, they come to see you and it's almost like a psychiatrist type thing or a,
Well, that would be like that. That's more like the marriage counseling and sex therapy. It's a little deeper than that. It'll go for somebody that was raped, for example, and they can't have sexual relationships after that. Like they just can't. So you need to talk to someone that can help you out. Let's say you're 40 years old and you're a virgin, and you want to have intercourse, but you just can't. No, you don't know how. You Who do you ask? Your mom's not gonna tell you. So you need a sex therapist. Let's say you do gender change. So now you no longer have a vagina. Now you have a penis. How do you use it? How do you work with it? It's also a surgical kind. So I need to tell you how to clean it, like how to use it, how like what to expect. Is it gonna bleed? Like how many times do you need surgery? Like you need to know a lot about that. So you would talk to somebody like me. Obviously, if somebody's having like the normal problems, like I'm sexually frustrated, I'm having erectile dysfunction, like and or like it's too dry, my wife, or like whatever, like those are basic, and that you would come to somebody to a sex therapist for that. But I feel like the people that really, really need it are people with like the first thing I mentioned. There's a lot more cases, but we wouldn't be done today.
What do you think about, like, on a lot of these wrestling podcasts are always advertising Blue Chew, for instance, as if like even if you don't have any problems, you should take something like that. And like, what do you think of people suggesting that, for instance, like, could that eventually cause damage?
Well, I don't know the side effects of the pill. I'm not aware of like what could happen, but I don't know. I feel like if you want to use it, because it'll give you more pleasure, so why not? Like you can use it, just don't abuse it.
Right. Just like any other drug. And
Just like any other drug or pill.
what made you want to get into that? Because that's an unusual one for sure. It's definitely very helpful, and I could see why you would, but it seems quite a contrast to being a heel manager.
Yeah, I just think that for myself, I want to be a performer, and I will always do that because it's my dream and I love it. But at the end of the day, I feel like we all have a purpose. And I've always been that person that everybody feels comfortable talking to, especially about sexual traumas. I don't know why, but a lot of people always come to me and they're like, hey, what would you do in this case? And I'm like, I don't really, why would you ask me? But I've always seemed to have the answer for it, or like at least what I think would works. And I've always been interested about like why everybody thinks sex is such a bad thing, and like why is everybody hiding. And I know it has to do a little bit with religion, but there has to be more to it than just, it's prohibited, it's bad, it's evil. So I like a challenge. I always like something that's different. And I was taking human sexuality in school, which was a class that was I needed to take a science, and I decided to take that one because everything else just sounded boring. And then one of the first things they taught us is like, what careers could you pursue if you were to be in the sexology field? And I was like, whoa, I could do that. And then I looked up sex therapists, and there's not really any sex therapy celebrities except Dr. Ruth, who is like aged. Aged. She is aged.
Yeah.
And I feel like she survived the Holocaust, so she's been around. Eventually, she's not going to be around. They're going to need somebody, and that's where I'm going to be. I'm going to be right there when they need somebody, when preparation meets opportunity.
Have you done TV jobs and movie acting jobs here and there too?
Um, no, I did theater most of my life. So, like, big majority of my life, I did theater. I did a few film things for Valencia, but I haven't done movies or anything of that kind. The only TV experience I got is well, actually, I did dancing on TV, but not acting.
Oh,
I
so
have
you're an
wrestling
actor.
and dancing. I tried all performing arts at one point. Sorry, excuse my dog. He's out of control.
What kind of dog is it?
It's a toy poodle.
Okay, yeah, I also have a toy poodle. I saw a picture of you and I wasn't sure if it was yours or not.
Yeah, no, I have two. I have a toy poodle and a mutt, and their names are Dr. Pepper and Ginger Ale.
Okay. Those toy poodles are very smart.
Yeah, they are. They're super smart. But yeah,
Now,
what was I saying?
you were talking about your acting.
Uh, my acting.
Yeah.
Because I started. Yeah, so I started in theater. Then I did a few film projects here, but it's all like the films I've done. It's mainly been like school projects.
Yeah.
I was dedicating my 2020 to that, to like casting, and I was gonna meet with an agent this week. But yeah, maybe when this is over, I can get back to that.
Yeah, I think wrestling is good training for the auditions and stuff that you deal with
Oh
in
yeah, I have no shame. Like I feel like the fear of being in front of a casting director went out the door the minute I was standing in front of 5,000 people.
yeah. Now, you also are quite exhibitionist, I guess, judging by the pictures I've seen. Like, you're not afraid of showing off your figure. How important do you feel that is for females in the business? Because I notice up here in Canada, a lot of female independent wrestlers are very shy, for instance, about showing off in pictures like their assets. But in the US, that doesn't seem to be as much of an issue.
Well, I don't know if it's an issue for anybody. I'm Latina. We are spicy, and I in my culture that doesn't seem like it's a bad thing. Like showing your body just feels to me like I'm just comfortable with what I got, and I work for it. I'm a fitness model. So if somebody asks me, for example, I have posted pictures in bikinis. Usually, the bikini will be for a company. And if a company is sending me products, they're working with me, and they're paying me money, I promise you I'm going to give my 100% so that they can sell that product. Sex sells, and I know that. And I am not really shy because I feel like bodies are beautiful. And to begin with, we were made naked. I don't ever post naked. I don't sell nudes. I'm not a prostitute. So they won't do anything of that kind. But if I am covered in glitter and I'm doing like a professional photo shoot that is just implied and then it's just art, it's beautiful. It's the you can do everything, just tasteful. You can do everything. I
And
think it's
I notice your abs are really defined. Do you have any training tips for abs?
consistency is key. I don't think that anybody has to go through a specific training to get any abs. Abs are made in the kitchen. So I would say 70% of what you eat should be healthy. And then the other 30, because like you need to eat your crap. Like otherwise you're gonna go nuts. So you leave that small percentage for the times that you want to eat shitty, and then the rest of the time, just make sure you eat good. And then when it comes to training, any exercise that you do constantly is gonna work. Like if you want abs, then do abs. If you want legs, do squats. If you want arms, do push-ups. It's just common sense.
What's your diet like? Like, what type of foods would you eat in a typical day?
Well, I have a meal prep company that delivers all my meals, and I am on their extreme lean plan. It's what it's called. So it will have like a portion of veggies. I will have my protein and a very small portion of carbs, and that's usually how all my meals are. And if I'm not home, then I just try to use common sense. I don't really like forcing myself to eat specific meals. I like to, I like to live normally like a human. I don't need to be in that prison. Like, no. So if I go to McDonald's, for example, I know that they have a Southwest salad. The Southwest salad has the only carbs it has is tortilla chips, which I can tell them to remove, but I can also eat a little bit of carbs. So I'll order a salad instead of the fries. And like everywhere I go, I know what's healthy and what's not. Like tomato or ketchup, take the tomato.
And obviously, you're very known for your legs. When you're doing squats, are you doing heavy squats? Or are you doing more repetitions?
Um, I have a I have a fitness coach that sent me a list. So I sometimes I add a little more weight, but it's usually the same repetition. Like I'll do like 4 sets of 16 or 5 of 16. Like it doesn't get it's not more than that ever. And I would say like if I lift today 150, then tomorrow I'll do 160. And if it's too heavy for me, then I'll go back to 150. And then the next day I'll try again and go 160 until I can do 200. And I'll just keep. But if I lift too heavy, then I'll get too muscular. So I try to like not go above the size that I'm at right now because I really like my size.
And do you have any beauty tips for any female wrestlers that might be watching this?
Um, Depends. Like, there's a lot of stuff. I would say for skincare, go to your dermatologist. I was able to clean my face a lot with like the CeraVe soap that they sell in Walmart. If you're like hurting for money, then it's only like $22. Or, but if you can go to a dermatologist and you like your skin to look pretty, chances are they can get you there. For hair tips, I was doing my own hair, but it wasn't until I went to the salon that I got good hair. I will say, if you want to be beautiful, 100% or symmetrical or whatever your goal is, it's commit to it. Like, don't if you wake up every day and you leave your hair messy and you treat yourself like shit, you're gonna look like shit. Like I bet like when I'm home, I got my robes and I feel like I treat myself. I like feeling fancy. And if you take care of yourself, you love yourself, your body will love you back.
And finally, for MLW, I'm going to assume you're under some type of extended contract with them.
Oh yeah, I have a long-term commitment with them, so I will say for a long time you will see me there.
Now, I understand they're one of the few companies that actually grew between, I think, 2018 and 2019. The growth was huge. Obviously, there's some actual show issues this year, but do you see that growth continuing? And what's going to happen to the wrestlers' pay as they continue to get TV deals? Like, I guess their per appearance fee is just going to go up.
Not really legally allowed to disclaim any of that information on like pays and contracts,
Yeah.
but I do feel like MLW is definitely gonna grow over the years. Like the product is really good and it's consistent. Like it only hurts when you lose track of what you've been doing. And I feel like MLW is on point every single week. No matter what, even if it's not like the same characters every week, the content is always very strong. And I feel like when there's a lot of talk, word of mouth, that we are getting constantly different deals with different in different parts of the world. So the more people know about it and the more deals we sign, then the bigger we'll get. That's just
I was
logic.
impressed that you guys were able to lock down Jacob Fatu because we heard WWE wanted him, AEW, and you guys pretty much only run once a month and you're able to secure him. So that shows something about like what he sees as a future for the company too.
Yeah, MLW is always really good to their talent. And I feel like no matter what, we're always safe there. And there's never any time where you feel like your extra talent or enhancement talent or just you're just there. Like MLW doesn't bring anybody without a purpose. And I feel like when a company shows you that kind of loyalty, you get that loyalty back.
And I have not heard hardly any criticism of the booking in MLW. I always hear from all the news I read that you guys have like the most logical booking of any company. So that's something that's quite an accomplishment.
Yeah, I agree. It's always fun, and I think it's always different. I've heard a lot of wrestlers behind the scenes talk, and they say that they're always saying, "I love that at MLW. I always get a new match, and it's exciting because I usually get to wrestle somebody I haven't." I still like I've been at MLW for 2 years now, and I feel like there's half of that roster I still haven't worked with. So they do a really good job at like separating uh, who is working with who at what time, and that gives you something to look forward to.
Now, for your social media, if people watching want to look you up, where can they search you up?
Well, on social, I'm everywhere. So social media, I am Selina De La Renta, Salina De La Renta like Oscar, DELARENTA. I'm on Twitch. I am on Snapchat, which I don't use, but I have it. Instagram, Twitter. I have a Patreon, Facebook, and I think I mentioned all of them.
What kind of content do you provide on Patreon?
I just updated my Patreon, so I have different tiers. I have some tiers that people just want to spoil me. I have some that just send back. I get a shout out to fans, so they get like videos back. I have another tier that has customs. So it's a custom tier where I will be posting like all my matches with my friends, and you'll see fun matches versus like Su Young, or I'll have matches with Diamante from LAX. I have people like Kiera Hogan. I have matches with Aria Blake. So I have a lot of fun matches on my custom tab. I also have another one that includes like behind the scenes content from all my videos, and I clarified on there that there's never going to be any nudity. So if you're looking to not my Patreon, and then I have another one that includes ordering your own custom matches.
Have you received like a lot of bizarre messages and
Yes,
from fans? Yeah.
yes, absurd, and it's just like, how do these people dare to talk to somebody like this? And I know that they wouldn't in real life. I just wish one person, when nobody has ever came up to me and like with that disrespect. I feel like it's always DMs, terrible thing.
I get it a lot too, and I get a lot of threats, even though I'm just a reporter reporting the news. Have you ever received any like threats from someone maybe taking your heel character too seriously?
I mean, it can be considered a threat because I've been like fuck you, bitch, and like that kind of message, and like you did this, and I don't really reply. It doesn't really affect me. Like I when I was growing up, I always wanted to be a public figure. And my mom would always tell me, "You need to be hard. You need to have no feelings towards that. You ignore the bullshit, ignore the bullshit." So right now I'm just like butter, just like
And on the opposite end of the spectrum, what are a couple of the really cool things that fans have done for you?
Um, actually, my fans treat me with a lot of love. I've gotten like mainly spoiled. Like, I am so spoiled. I've been getting Starbucks gift cards. Somebody just bought me some Versace sunglasses. I had a fan buy me Balenciagas, which are $800 sneakers. I had somebody buy me a laptop, a MacBook Pro. I've been treated amazing by my fans, and not only that, I also feel like the love that they show me daily. Like I get messages like a lot of love. Like for every dick picture, I have 10 good messages. So there's a lot more. A lot. There's a lot good that it just like blurs out the bad.
So, where do you see your career in 5 years? Do you think you're going to be more on the producing side or more on the on-camera side or doing that plus your sex therapist job? Where do you see yourself?
Well, in 5 years, chances are I'll be finishing my master's. Not necessarily with anywhere near where I want to be in sexology. But for where I'm gonna be in 5 years, you know what? Like I I think at this point in my life, I can no longer see the future. Like when I was younger, I was like, yeah, 5 years I'll be on TV. Right now, the way everything played out was way better than I could ever imagine. Like way better. So because I know that life just is gonna turn out great for me, I don't really care where I'm gonna be in 5 years. I just know it's gonna be huge and I'm gonna be living.
But, and I know this is, you can't really answer this, but do you see yourself like growing with MLW, or do you really want to be on WrestleMania, for instance, one day? Is that like a goal for you?
Well, I feel like I've been growing with MLW, and I feel like as they grow, I continue to grow as well. But that's like every platform. Like if I get brought in to a new TV show, nobody's gonna know me. But the more popular my character gets, then the more people talk about me, the more people watch. So for now, MLW is they have been great to me. So I can be here a long time. But I don't know, eventually I could get an opportunity, and at the end of the day, we all have a dream and a goal, and I would like to be in WWE one day.
Well, I really appreciate you taking the time to speak with us. I feel you're one of the top female talents in the wrestling business. And any final message to close us off for the fans up here in Canada watching?
Yeah, I'm just gonna say this. If you have a dream, believe in it because it can come true. And seriously, like it's not bullshit. Dreams come true if you work hard.
Thank you for watching the Hannibal TV. Please like this video if you enjoyed it and click the subscribe button to not miss any of our latest shoot interviews, match videos, or news updates. Support us on patreon.com for $1.99 a month to watch our full shoot interviews ad-free and help our channel grow. Follow us on Twitter at the Hannibal TV for instant updates.